Good morning, everyone. I'm Cassandra Fauss from Mobile Home, and I'm so happy to be able to bring you this free practice this morning. We were planning on hosting the class live from Confluence Park, but the weather had a little bit of a different idea. It's a bit rainy and wet outside, so I decided to stay in. And so we're here at my house inside of my office yoga room, as I'm sure most of you are following along at your house, so we can all kind of be in this together in virtual community. I am grateful to be able to offer this class to continue our outreach efforts with Confluence Park, the San Antonio River Authority, and the San Antonio River Foundation, who help sponsor these experiences for our community so that we're able to bring it to you each and every week. We're here at 10 a.m., whether in person or online, every Sunday. So thank you so much for those who are joining, whether you're a regular or whether you're first time, you are welcome here. I'm so happy to have you this Sunday morning. So if you could go ahead and make your way onto your mat and find a comfortable seat. If you have anything comfortable like a blanket or a pillow that you would like to sit on, it can really help to elevate the hips and to give you a nice soft cushion. We're going to begin today just allowing the hands to rest on the legs and allow the eyelids to softly close. And take a moment to just drop in, to arrive in your seat. In the process of kind of tuning out anything that may be stirring off of the mat outside of the context of your skin, and begin to tune in, starting with the breath, perhaps deepening your inhales, lengthening your exhales. Just taking a few long, deep breaths. No rush, no hurry, just observe. So today for practice, we're going to focus on this idea of cultivating equanimity. So equanimity, this idea of staying calm amongst the chaos, of being able to find balance even in those moments that can seem to tip us one way or the other. Taking a few more moments to breathe here, I want you to begin to create equal length in your inhale and equal length of the exhale. So maybe you kind of use your heartbeat as a metronome, like a meter, as you inhale for 4 or maybe 5 beats, finding that pause at the top and then exhaling that same beat. As we start to regulate the breath, we bring our energetic state into in a place of more equanimity. So oftentimes our breath is very telling of our energetic state. We can breathe shallow and quickly and notice our heart rate begins to rise and perhaps our anxiety begins to rise. You often hear take 3 long deep breaths, and that helps to bring us back down. Finding a little more calm in what seems to be a chaotic space. Taking just a few more breaths here, evening out the inhales and the exhales. And soaking in this moment of genuinely arriving with yourself, right here on your mat or on your cushion. Taking one last breath, evening out the inhale and the exhale. And then begin begin to bring the palms of your hands together and just rub them briskly. We're going to take our unshakable trust mudra. If you know it, find it. If you need to peek open your eyes, I'll show you. You're just going to interlace your fingers and cover your heart with the warmth of your hands. Let the elbows rest down by the side. Take a few breaths as you lift the heart into that warmth in the palm of your hands and come up with a heartfelt intention or reason for showing up in your practice today. Continuing to keep your focus inward. I want you to now bring to mind our community at large. Perhaps you know someone in particular that's practicing with us this morning. You can picture their face. Or perhaps you just imagine the energy that we're creating from afar, practicing this mindfulness, heart-centered practice. We're going to come together with the sound of 3 ohms. We'll start with a cleansing breath in through your nose. Breathe in deep. And then open your mouth and take a really big sigh. On the next inhale, we'll take one. One breath here, feeling that vibration of your mantra, holding space. And as you're ready, you can release your hands. Gently open up your eyes. Just kind of take in the space around you, appreciating your ability to be here this morning for yourself in this practice and create space in your own home. We're going to make our way into child's pose. So go ahead and come onto the hands and knees. I like to take the knees really wide here, the big toes together so our shins create a foundation. Walk your fingertips towards the front of your mat and allow your forehead to settle into the earth. Take a big, full, deep breath here. And as you exhale, allow the hips to sink a little bit deeper back towards your heels. The next inhale, you can walk your fingertips perhaps a little bit further forward, elongating the side body. And as you exhale, once again, sending those hips back towards your heels. Begin to gently activate your navel point here, drawing the belly button towards the spine. Not super sucking it in here, but just about a 25-30% effort. As you inhale, walk your fingertips a little longer, and then as you exhale, begin to walk them over towards the right side of your mat. All the way over. Maybe your hands even come off of your mats. And then keeping your forehead grounded and both hips pressing back, I want you to begin to bring your breath into the left ribs. So you're really expanding open with each inhale. And each exhale, settling the hips back. For the last couple of breaths, you can take your left hand, bring it on top of your right, maybe even making a type of fist here to find that stretch through the right, or the left armpit, the left side body. One more breath here. And releasing your hand if you've taken the left hand on top of the right. On your inhale, coming through center, and on the exhale, walking over to the other side. So coming to the left side, keeping the forehead down, the hips moving back as you begin to switch the breath into the right rib cage. You can bring that right hand on top of the left, getting a little more length
all the way up through the right armpit. Taking one more breath in and emptying it out. Releasing your hands, coming back to center into your child's pose. On an inhale, begin to press yourself up into tabletop. Keep the knees wide. As you exhale, just come back to sit down. We're just going to flow a little bit here. Maybe as you inhale, you kind of round through the back, coming all the way forward. And then as you exhale, just sitting the hips back. We'll do that one more time. Inhaling, try to find a wave in the upper back. And then as you exhale, waving the hips back to the heels. On the next inhale, go ahead and begin to come back upright. And this time bring the knees to stack right underneath the hips. Bringing your wrists underneath your shoulders. Fingers are spread nice and wide here. We're going to begin to take movement with our breath. And as you inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, and try to find space in the front of the heart. As you exhale, pressing the mat away with hands and knees, round the back, tuck the chin, curl it out. Another inhale, belly's going to drop, gaze lifts. Maybe the corners of your mouth lift. Exhale, tuck the chin and round. Taking a few more on your own. Just allowing this movement to be an awakening state. So if you need to pause in either place because your body's telling you it needs some extra space, then go ahead and pause. Color outside the lines and find whatever feels good for you here. And taking one last round through your cat-cow. Go ahead and pause in your tabletop. We're going to begin to find that navel action, drawing in towards the spine. And what you'll notice, I'll turn sideways for a moment to see, is it's a tendency as we hold ourselves here kind of lazily to sag in the belly. You want to draw that navel in, tuck the tailbone back, and also at the same time pulling the shoulders back and pressing through the crown. So it's almost like you're wearing a corset, like in the rib cage here. And now to extend that right leg back. You can keep the toes tucked on the ground, keep drawing the shoulders back headlong. Or maybe you begin to lift that right heel, activating the core even more to balance that right leg to the sky. Take an inhale here, reaching through the heel and crown. Stay for your exhale, begin to shift weight into your right hand. First, maybe you just spider walk that left hand forward. And again, maybe you leave it there, or you can lift it up, and now you're finding balance, right? Keep it here, keep breathing. The key to equanimity is that when we want to fight, can we find space, right? So to find balance here, can you really acknowledge where you're gripping? Take an inhale. As you exhale, we're going to bend the left elbow and right knee and draw them in, rounding up the back. Just do the best you can. It's okay to be wobbly here. Inhale, reach it out. As you exhale, we'll draw it back in. Inhale, stretch it out. Last one here. Exhale, draw it in, really slow and mindful. As you inhale, you're going to reach it back out. As you exhale, set your left hand down, set your right knee back to the ground. Take a couple of cat-cow movements. Just being back into the spine here. And then you're going to pause back in your tabletop pose, finding that corset of the ribs, nice long spine. Shoulders are plugged away from the ears. This time the left leg is going to begin to extend back, either toes tucked, heel extending, or lifting the heel completely, letting that leg balance in the air. Begin to draw the navel in even more. Breathe here. Weight's going to start to shift into the left hand. You can walk the right hand forward, maybe pausing there, or you can lift it up, finding that tug-of-war motion as the right fingertips move forward and that left heel moves back. Take an inhale for length, and as you exhale, draw the right elbow towards the left knee. Cat-like spine here. Inhale, extend and stretch.
Exhale, draw it in. Last one, inhale, reach it out. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, reach it out. And on your exhale, return to the hand and the knee. Take a cat-cow, reset the spine. And then go ahead and pause. And I want you to, if you're on a yoga mat, go ahead and crawl back towards the back of your mat so that the toes are right at the back edge. We're gonna find our puppy pose. So kind of like child's pose, except you're gonna keep your hips over your knees. Just walking the arms forward and bringing the forehead down. So you're keeping your hips really high here. If this is too much in the shoulders, you can bend one or maybe both arms, letting your forehead come onto the forearms. I want you to activate through the tops of the feet and the shins. Press them into the earth. Also through the palms, keep them active. Take a big inhale here. And as you exhale, can you soften your heart down towards the mat? So another name for this pose is heart melting pose. You want to feel that heart space starting to soften. Long, full, deep breaths here. Stay with it. Taking one more breath in this puppy pose. On your next inhale, beginning to press through the hands, lifting yourself up. Tuck the toes, take it back, find downward facing dog, and walk out your dog here. Bending one knee, letting the opposite heel come towards the ground, and perhaps switching sides, side to side. Keeping that walking motion going, just begin to pick your feet up and little baby steps as you walk all the way towards the hands. The top of your mat, feet are nice and wide. Inhale, find a long straight spine. And as you exhale, let the belly melt over your thighs for your ragdoll. Completely let the brain drain here. Lift and spread the toes and then re-ground through the feet. Rolling the shoulders away from the ears. You can shake the head yes and no. Really let the brain drain. So I love this easy inversion. You know, it gets us the same benefits as some of the really crazy handstands or headstands that we may see all over Instagram. But in reality, anytime we have our head beneath our heart, we're getting that benefit of reversing circulation. You can stay here, maybe grab opposite elbows for the last few breaths here. You know, energetically, I like to think it's putting my heart over my head. And this idea of finding equanimity, it's usually a battle between overthinking or overfeeling. And so we just ride the waves and get present. The first step in equanimity is getting present. Release the fingertips towards the earth. On an inhale, lift the heart space forward, and as you exhale, melt it back down towards the mat. Begin to walk your feet a little narrower right underneath the hips. And then you're going to take your hands behind your head, interlace them right at the base of the neck, and keeping your elbows heavy to the ground, chin glued to your chest, you're going to slowly begin to rise up. So you can almost imagine you're stacking your vertebrae one at a time. Keeping the chin glued to the chest, as arms are nice and heavy, you should feel the stretch in the back of the neck. So the head will come up last, and you'll lift your elbows and then spread them nice and wide. So with the back of your head, fall into your hands. Take a deep inhale and lift the heart, maybe fall a little further back. And then exhale, release your hands right down by your side. Finding your Tadasana pose, standing at attention. Close the eyes and feel the feet. So we are at all times this balance point between the solid state of earth and then the space above and around us. So we're always moving between effort and ease, hardness and softness. So our goal in equanimity is not to harden ourselves or soften ourselves too much. It's to find that gray area. Let's take an inhale, extend the fingertips towards the sky. As you exhale, fold down.
Inhale, halfway lift, get your heart nice and long. As you exhale, bring the palm to the mat. We're going to take a big step with your left foot to the back of the mat, and then go ahead and lower your left knee. If you're like me, if you have any kind of knee issues, I'm going to go ahead and bring a blanket underneath my back knee. And then we're going to start to sink forward into your right knee. So for a lot of you, your knee may come really far in front of your ankle. And if that's the case, I want you to come back and walk that right foot forward and bend forward till your ankle is right underneath your knee. Staying here, getting long through the heart center. Right hand comes to your thigh, then the left hand, and you start to bring your torso up and off of the mats. Keep rolling your shoulders back, starting to draw the belly button up and in. So we can feel that solid grounding energy here in our legs, in our pelvis. And then we balance, we find equanimity by not getting all heavy, but by also finding our lightness in our space. And maybe that means extending your arms. And anytime the fingers get high, make sure your shoulders are dropping down the back. Maybe even the gaze lifts up. Take one more inhale here. And then as you exhale, bring the hands down to the mat. You're going to shift back, bring that right knee to meet your left. So we're in a modified push-up or high plank. As you exhale, you're going to try to keep your hips high and just lower down your chest and your chin. Then you're going to slide forward, kind of like a snake, straight into your low cobra. Elbows hug in. Exhale, lower the chest. Coming back into child's pose. Lift yourself up and hips come back to heels. Taking one breath here and getting empty. Inhale up through tabletop. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. So get active and strong through the palms of your hands, letting your heels sink down towards the earth. And then almost defying gravity as you draw the belly in and try to lift the hips up and away from the wrists. Staying grounded here, begin to shift weight to your left foot. Right heel is going to start to lift. See if you can stamp it straight behind you. Notice the wobble, the shake. Are you feeding that struggle? Or can you find your equanimity here? One more breath. As you exhale, draw the knee towards your nose. You're going to step the foot between the hands. This time, stay on the ball of your back foot. Before we rise up, I want you to scissor the hips. I want you to feel the right hip pulling back and the left hip pulling forward. And then you'll begin to rise all the way up. Hands at your heart center. So, if you find yourself super wobbly here, you can bend, you can set your back knee down onto the mat. Otherwise, you can keep your back leg lifted and find your balance by staying super engaged. Let's inhale, take the arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, find cactus arms. And exhale out your mouth. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Pause. And then start to turn towards the right. Right elbow back, left elbow forward. Ooh, notice your wobble, be super present. So to find balance, we have to find that balance point between effort, we reach, and ease, we soften. On the next inhale, come back to center. On your exhale, bring your hands down to the mat. Walk your fingertips forward, step into the right foot, and then bring your left foot forward to meet the right. On an inhale, halfway lift, heart reaches. Exhale, bow forward. Let's take a breeze as you reach all the way up. Catch that breeze. And back down. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift, heart reaches long. On the exhale, palms to the mat, lift the right foot, take a big step back, right knee comes down to the floor. Hands are on either side of your left leg now. Begin to sink forward really deep through the hips and the pelvis. And then once again, if the knee's really far forward, bring your ankle right underneath your knee. Rooting down into the feet, hands come up to your front thigh. Begin to roll shoulders back, lifting the belly up and away. So we find that grounding energy sinking really deep. And then again, finding that lightness or space by engaging with our experience. Fingertips reaching high. Are the shoulders finding tension? Can we find them a little softer? One more inhale. And then with your exhale, hands come down to the mat. You're bringing the left knee to meet the right. One more of those modified chaturangas as you exhale, lowering your chest and chin, and then slithering like a snake into your cobra. Inhale, lift the chest, and exhale, lower. Making your way up and back to child's pose. Take an inhale and an exhale. Inhale up through tabletop. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, find downward facing dog. Take a breath in and a breath out. Shifting into the right foot, left heel reaches high to the sky this time. Finding all of that grounding energy as you draw the navel in, ground through the hands, and then extend a little taller and longer through that left heel. Take an inhale. As you exhale, drawing the knee towards your nose to transition. Maybe walking that foot forward. Staying on the ball of your back foot, or maybe lowering it if you need that extra stability. We're going to rise into our crescent lunge. Start with the hands at your heart center. Really get deep into your front knee and activate that back leg, especially if it's lifted. And then inhale, reach the fingertips high towards the sky. Shoulder blades soften down the back. Take an inhale. Cactus arms, exhale. Inhale. Cactus arms, exhale. Last one, inhale. Cactus arm, exhale. Pause, inhale. As you exhale, twist. So notice that stability, instability. Can you stay present? Activate with the experience and turn a little deeper maybe. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands come to the mat. This time, take that right foot, step it forward to meet your left. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale and bow it down. Inhale, reaching out all the way up. Exhale, thumbs come to meet your heart. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, fingertips high. Exhale, swan dive down. Halfway lift, breathe in. Plank pose, breathe out. Palms down, feet step back. You have the option to modify. Drop the knees if you need to. Keep the knees lifted and breathe. Be with, lean in to your experience here. Where are you struggling? Take an inhale. And exhale, lower. Take an inhale, find cobra pose. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press up and back. Find child's pose. Take a breath in and a breath out. Inhale, forward, find tabletop. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Breathing in and letting it out. This time, shifting into the left foot, the right heel's going to lift. Then you're going to bend your right knee. Begin to open the right knee up towards the left side. Take a peek back at your left foot. Make sure the heel is straight behind the balls of the foot. And then start to lift and open that right knee a little bit more, pressing equally into both hands. Inhale. As you exhale, look forward. Right foot's going to come right in between the hands. Left heel comes down parallel back of your mat, warrior two pose. So you're opening towards the long edge of your mats. Right knee's bending over the ankle, outer edge of your back foot settling into the mat.
reaching your arms out parallel to your mat. We're just gonna make this a little fluid. So as you inhale, you're gonna reach your arms up and straighten your right knee. And as you exhale, get a little deeper, bend back into warrior two. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reaching up, pause. Exhale, just move your arms to warrior two arms. Keep that right leg straight. Inhale, extending right hand forward. Right hand's gonna come to your shin. Left hand comes to the sky. So make sure you're not pressing a lot of weight into that right leg. You're maintaining awareness of your core here, navel into the spine, twisting that left rib cage open, and finding a little bit of a lift, even up through that left hand. If it bothers your neck to look up, you can always look down at the right foot. Let's take one more breath here. On your next inhale, begin to rise. On your exhale, bend back into your left knee. Flip your right palm, reverse your warrior. Keep the right knee bent as you reach the right fingertips back. Notice that right knee wanting to straighten, rebend it deeper, and extend a little longer to the right fingertips. One more inhale. We're cartwheeling the hands down on the exhale, all the way to the mat. Right foot's gonna come to meet the left, high plank. Your choice to drop the knees, and we'll lower down all the way to the mat. So these chaturangas are always optional. Inhale, the heart lifts. Child's pose or down dog are always available. Lower down. We'll meet back in child's pose for just a breath. Take it in and out. And then finding your tabletop, touching the toes, lifting up, downward facing dog. Take a breath in and a breath out. Reach your left heel back to the sky this time, bending your left knee, finding that knee up towards the sky. I jokingly call this the dog at a fire hydrant pose. So you really want to hike it up there. Imagine those of you who have dogs, embodying them here. One more breath. As you exhale, go ahead and bring your left foot to meet the hands, right heel coming flat, opening into that warrior two on your left side. Bend your left knee right over the ankle. You're opening up towards that long edge of your mat. Arms parallel to the earth to begin. Now we'll take it into that moving pose where we're inhale, straighten the left leg, reach the arms up. Exhale, bend deep once again. Inhale, straighten and reach. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Last one, we'll stay up, inhale. Exhale, arms come down only. Leave the left leg straight. Inhale, reach through the left fingertips. Left hand coming down. Right arm reaching to the sky. So again, not putting weight in that left hand. Using your navel to lift the torso and open up to that right shoulder. Taking a breath in and out. On your next inhale, rise. On your exhale, bend in your left knee. Begin to flip your left palm, reverse your warrior, big inhale. Stay for the exhale, bend a little deeper in your left knee. Extend long left fingertips, inhale. On the exhale, cartwheel the hands to the mat. Taking that flow, that chaturanga, or skipping it all, we're gonna meet in downward facing dog. So whenever you make it there, we'll meet you there. And just check in. So when we notice that our life is always in transition, just like our practice, it can allow us to not grip so tightly. And when we don't grip so tightly on our experience, the places where we may feel tender or tense, then we allow the opposite of that gripping, which is space. We allow space to begin to find ease. Taking one more breath in and a breath out.
And then bring your feet all the way to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Take an inhale, rise all the way up, fingertips high to the sky. And as you exhale, bring your hands together right at your heart center. All right, begin to take a moment balancing in both feet. And now begin to shift weight into your right foot. And you're just going to take that left knee and begin to lift it right in front of you. Right? So life in transition. We find our way, we find our way standing on 2 feet, and before we know it, one of our feet get knocked out from under us, right? Can we find a new normal, a new place of equanimity? Now begin to take that left leg and reach it out to the left side. Keep it lifted, finding that length in your standing leg. Take another inhale breath. As you exhale, you're going to take that left foot, step it all the way to the back of your mat. So we're going to find a goddess pose here. I'm going to turn to face you so you can see what I'm doing here. So a little goddess pose. So your knees are bent right over your ankles. Your arms are going to come straight up to the sky. So we're going to mix this goddess pose with some movement, and we're going to mix it with a breath called lion's breath. I'm going to demonstrate, and then we'll do 3 of them together. So we're going to inhale, come up into a big, open-hearted starfish pose. And as you exhale, we're going to bend the knees and elbows and breathe like this. All right, no one else can see you, but you all can see me. So you all got to do it too. Ready? Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Close the mouth, stay here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, straighten your legs. Exhale, bring your feet parallel to the earth. Hands come onto your hips, or parallel to the sides of your mat. Elbows move back. Inhale, lift the heart, and then find a wide leg forward fold. So be sure not to lock your knees here. You want to keep a little soft bend. Once you come down, hands can come off the hips onto the ground. Take an inhale, extend long through the spine, and as you exhale, bow it down. Yogi's choice here. You can take a passive forward fold, just finding some release in the neck. You can get a little deeper by walking the hands between the feet, or maybe reaching out to grab onto your feet or your ankles here. And just a couple more breaths. Once again, getting that benefit of our inversion. Anytime we're overthinking, it's a great place to come to let the brain drain. And bringing the hands back together. Inhale, halfway lift. Become parallel to the earth with the torso. Hands are going to come onto the hips, using that nice strong core to help lift you all the way back up. All right, you're going to turn your right toes forward, and then just step your left foot forward to meet your right. Come back to the top of your mat, finding yourself standing strongly in both feet. All right, from here, begin to root down into that left foot and draw your right knee up in front of you. Knee's gonna come right in line with your hip. Flex that right foot. Ground down through your standing foot and lift a little taller through the heart. Really keep that leg in the air active so it holds itself here. You'll begin to open the right knee towards the right side. Noticing your tendency to get off balance. Instead of buying into it, find a new reality. Regain your composure. Take an inhale. As you exhale, you're going to take that right foot all the way back, finding your goddess pose. We're going to do 3 more of those lion breaths. So we're going to inhale, straighten up. Exhale, let it out. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Hands to your hips. Exhale. Turn your feet parallel to the front of your mat. This time, hands are going to come behind the back. So you can reach across for opposite wrists or elbows, or maybe even finding a reverse prayer pose. And you're going to inhale, length. Exhale with the soft knees, fold yourself into that wide leg forward folds. So with the bind of the hands, it can help us to keep those shoulders anchored away from the ears. The crown of the head be heavy, maybe shake it yes and no. And take a deep breath in and a sigh out. And let the hands come down to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to hips, root through the feet. Inhale, lift your torso. Turn your left toes forward. Step both feet to meet top of your mats. Take an inhale and an exhale. Let's sweep the arms all the way out and up. Big breath in. On an exhale, take it down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, palms to the ground. Step your feet to the back of your mat. Pause here. Take another inhale. And as you exhale, lower yourself all the way down onto your belly. Take your right ear to the mat, hands down by your side. Let the shoulders just roll down. Breathing a few moments here. So when we talk about equanimity, it's really not about shifting our situation. It's about shifting our mindset. And then we can shift our actions. So an easy illustration here, as you breathe, notice if you immediately feel like you're struggling to breathe down against the floor. So our reality is we're on the belly. There's not space to really expand. So let's shift that breath into the back body. Can you begin instead to open up the breath and let it lift the back of the heart or the mid-back, so that the ground no longer becomes an obstacle, but instead an opportunity to find new space. Take one more breath here. And then turn your palms to face the ground. Bring your head into neutral. We're going to activate and kind of fly like Superman here. So inhale, lift your head first. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. And then you're going to lift your legs. And then you'll lift your palms and really reach them back. Zip your belly button up off the mat. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Everything you can, the back body. One more. Inhale, squeeze. And then exhale, soften down. Bring the left ear to the mat. Let the shoulders relax. You can flip the palms. And breathe here. Once again, finding that opportunity for space in the back body. Taking one more breath in and out here. And coming back to neutral. I'm going to give you two options here. You can either take the same thing we just took, or if you have a floor bow in your practice, if you're able to reach back for your feet, then we can take a full floor bow instead. I'm going to demonstrate floor bow for you guys. Otherwise, you can take right back into that little Superman pose. So you're going to inhale, lift your chest, and as you exhale, kick your feet and your shins back into your hands. Now zip your belly button in, take an inhale. As you exhale, lift up a little higher. Squeeze the shoulders. If you have your feet, kick your shins. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, release. Let go of the feet if you have the bind. Take a couple breaths in neutral. We're going to make our way back into child's pose. Bring your hips to the heels. Keep your knees narrow for this one. Hands by the heels. Let the shoulders soften for just a moment. Take an inhale. And an exhale. And on your next inhale, you're going to come all the way upright. So for our peak opening here, we're going to do camel pose. Once again, if you have any issues with your knees, I invite you to bring a blanket down underneath your knees. We're going to come to standing up on your shins. I'm going to show you this sideways so you can see where we're going with this pose. So the hands are going to be right on your lower back. The purpose of the hands here is to help you tuck the pelvis under. So you want to first feel that pelvic tuck, and you want to keep that brace of pressing your hips forward so that we're keeping our hips right over the knees. Now,
Squeeze your elbows together. As you inhale, I want you to feel a lift from the chest. So for the women out there, what we're imagining is right around where your sports bra strap is, that there's one of those like high jump bars that we don't want to lean back and knock over. We want to try to inhale, lift up, and dive over. So the chin can stay tucked. Keep pressing into the palms. With each inhale, can you find a lift through the heart? Each exhale, squeezing the elbows back, falling a little deeper. Taking one more breath in here, out. Starting to slowly lift the chest, lift the shoulders. You're gonna sit your hips back on your heels. Bring the hands onto the thighs, close the eyes, or just soften the gaze down and take a couple breaths. Notice how your energy might be percolating. It might feel a little uneasy, so we can use this opportunity to come back, to slow down the breath, to slow down our heart rate, find that equanimity. We'll take this one more time, and I'll show you an option that is going to help you to dig in a little bit deeper, especially if you're feeling extra closed off in this rainy weather and our whole situation right now of being isolated. It can be very closed off in our heart space. So one of my favorite things to do here, and it looks a little funky, but again, no one's watching. You're gonna take your hands, start right where we were as you start to lean back, then you're gonna walk your hands down and get right below your glutes. And you're gonna kind of grab your thighs. So you can see me from the back. As you grab your thighs, you pull them apart. And if you see from the front, it's getting a nice big opening in our chest. So try that on if it feels good. If you feel any crispiness or crunchiness in your low back, please keep your hands at the low back supporting it. So taking it back to wherever feels good for you, remembering that lift of each inhale, exhale into that space. Taking one more inhale, and slowly as you exhale, begin to unravel. Again, bringing your hips back to your heels, hands onto the thighs, and just take a moment here to be with yourself. Again, to take your hips to either side. You're just gonna come to sitting on your sits bones, finding your way in a nice comfortable sit. And then you'll bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees butterfly out wide. And kind of take a moment, move the blessings away from your sit bones here. And then take a few seated cat-cows. As you inhale, you're gonna really find that lift in the heart and that tilt of your pelvis. And as you exhale, tuck your chin, round it back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Last one, inhale, lift. This time as you exhale, just take it forward. Find a forward fold here. Once again, trying to lift the breath into the back of the body. Your next inhale, begin to walk your hands up. Take your hands to the outside of your knees and close them up like a book. You're going to slowly begin to lower yourself all the way down onto your back. Keep your feet on the floor and your knees to the sky. You're going to walk your feet in towards you. You're going to take that right ankle across your left knee. And you're going to create a little figure four here. So you can stay here. I'll turn sideways so you can see me. Maybe taking that right hand and you can kind of press on your inner thigh. It can be a really good little self-assist, feeling some opening. Release that. This time you're going to start to lift your foot off the ground, drawing that left knee in towards you. You're going to take your right hand and you can thread it behind your right knee and maybe grab on right behind the back thigh. I want you to try to keep your shoulders and your head on the mat as well as your tailbone here. Keeping that right foot active, not only the foot flex, but feeling that knee gently press away from your body.
as you draw a little closer with your ankle. A few more breaths here. Taking one more breath in through the nose and out. So I want you to keep your ankle on your knee as you release your left foot back to the ground. You're going to slide that ankle so that your knees are crossed a little higher up on the thighs, and then we'll start just by drawing your knees in. So you may grab onto that top knee, or maybe if you can, take your hands toward your feet, and you can pull the feet toward your hips here. Maybe rock a little side to side. Check in with where you're feeling tense or tender. If you have the feet, you're going to let them go or let go of the shins. And then you're going to keep the knees hugged in close, and you're going to start to take them over to the left side. So for some of you, this might be way too much in the back. Super easy to just uncurl that right knee and put it on top of the left to be in a more traditional spinal twist. So either having that right leg crossed or right knee on top of left, you're trying to work the right shoulder to the opposite side of your mat. Maybe the gaze goes to meet the right fingertips. And take a few breaths here. If you have the legs still crossed, go ahead and uncross the legs. Bring your knees back up into center. Recenter the hips if they've gotten off center. Keeping the soles of the right foot on the ground, draw the left knee up and in, turning that left knee out, finding your figure four, ankle across the right knee. Once again, you can take that left hand towards your inner thigh, maybe find a little space in that hip joint by just gently pressing the flesh away. And then beginning to come back, we're going to lift the right foot off the ground this time, taking that left hand through the back of the right thigh, keeping the left foot flexed, drawing in that right knee and left ankle, shoulders and tailbone staying on the mat. Breath is long, full, and deep. Taking your final breath in here. And as you exhale, keeping the ankle on the knee, just release your right foot down. Slide the ankle down so the thighs are crossed. Then draw the knees back in, either grabbing onto the knees or grabbing onto the feet. Just a couple breaths in and out here. Releasing your feet, either keeping the knees crossed or if you want them uncrossed, you're going to bring the arms wide and the knees are going to fall over towards the right. You can bring the gaze to meet the left arm and just settle in to a few long, deep inhales and exhales here. With your next inhale, if the legs are crossed, go ahead and uncross them. Bring the knees back towards center, drawing the knees in towards the chest. Hug them in. And then for our final pose before Shavasana, let's take both soles of the feet up towards the sky. You're going to bring your hands right underneath the small of your back to give yourself a little support here. So we talked about our forward fold inversions, helping to drain the brain by bringing our head underneath our hearts. So this inversion, when we bring our feet over our heart, it's a place that helps us to bring calm and grounding energy of the feet down towards the heart and head space. So though it's a very simple inversion, it's really, really beneficial.
Maybe you kind of wiggle out your toes and your ankles last few moments here. And then letting the hands come out from underneath your hips. Let the knees come wide and find your happy baby as you grab onto the feet or the ankles or even the inner knees, and just maybe rock from side to side. Or I like to call it Kung Fu baby, kicking through one heel, feeling that stretch, then through the opposite heel. And back to neutral, taking one last moment here, breathing fully in through the nose and emptying out. Go ahead and release your feet and begin to make your way into your final resting pose, straightening the legs out, palms facing up. Letting yourself bring any additional support, pillows or blankets, or any other postures that seem more relaxing. Once you've come to settle down, just take a body scan, starting with the soles of your feet, scanning up the legs, pelvis, torso, belly, into the chest, the shoulders, the arms and hands, up through the neck, into the head, and see where there's any tension. If there's any way to make yourself just 10 or 15% more comfortable, just allow yourself to wiggle into that space. Eyelids closed. Breathe. Seeing if you can maybe find the same equal inhales and exhales, counting it with the beating of your heart. And just stay here in your Shavasana for a few more moments. There's a Native American tale of this young boy who was sitting on his grandfather's lap. And his grandfather was telling him a story. He told the young boy, "Child, within each of us, there are two wolves." And the child looked up at his grandfather and was like, "Really? What do you mean? What kind of wolves?" And the grandfather said, "Well, we have the good wolf, who stands for love and compassion, unity, and all the things in life that bring us joy and togetherness and peace. We also have the bad wolf, the wolf of suffering, the wolf that carries us away from our connected space, where we feed our jealousy, we feed our anger, our blame. And that these wolves are constantly at battle." And the boy looks up at his grandfather and says, "Well, grandfather, which one wins?" And the grandfather looked down at the little boy and said, "Whichever one you choose to feed. Whichever one you choose to feed." This perfectly embodies this idea of equanimity. That within us, at all times, we have the capacity to be pulled in either direction. And that when we arrive at a place of presence, when we take the time to pay attention, we can recognize which wolf we're feeding. Because whichever one we feed gets stronger. And whichever one we starve gets weaker. So take a couple couple more moments here, and any places you meet tension or tenderness, instead of coming into a place of fighting or pushing against, just notice how you could shift your perspective, perhaps feed a different part of the story. In any situation, we can feed suffering or we can feed joy. And it's up to you to shift your mind or to shift your body. Taking just a few more breaths here. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. As you're ready, extend your arms over your head. Find a full body stretch from your fingers to your toes, reaching them out in opposite direction. Draw your knees up and in towards your chest, rolling towards your favorite side, fetal position. Taking just a moment to feel the comfort of this place, of this space. Honoring the journey you've taken and what wisdom you can carry with you as you journey off your mat this morning. And then press yourself all the way up to a seat, finding yourself comfortable, cross-legged. And before we complete our practice, just gently peek open your eyes. And we're going to close our practice by bringing that pinky fingers together like you're creating a little bowl right in front of your heart. So this mudra is called Pushpaputa Mudra, or also known as a fistful of flowers. So I want you to take a moment and close your eyes and think about things that you can feed today in this moment that bring you joy and peace and calm and unity. And as you inhale those feelings, I want you to purse your lips and just blow into the palm of your hands, like you're blowing blessings into the palm of your hands. Take a few more moments, and with each exhale, as you blow into the palm of your hands, it's as if you're placing that gratitude, that joyous thought, like a flower into the palm of your hand. Taking just a couple more breaths, filling up your palms with a couple more joyous thoughts of gratitude, of peace and ease this morning. And then holding on to that fistful of your flowers of gratitude. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And then exhale to sigh it out. I'm just going to close with one Om. Keep holding that fistful of flowers. Take an inhale. Now taking that fistful of flowers, you're going to lift and offer it up. And then you turn the palms onto yourself and re-bless yourself with the positive vibrations and joy and wisdom of this practice. Bring the palms to touch your heart. Acknowledging that spark that brought you to your mat. Acknowledging the other hearts and bodies that have moved and breathed with you this morning. I honor each and every one of you for your dedication to arriving and to show up. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste.